Hello my dolly dearies and welcome to another video. Now it is finally here, the final of this series which has lasted as long as my channel. The last doll in our Yandere Simulator series. We are finally making Megami Saikou after so many delays and oh my god, let's just get on with the video. If you guys have been following the series for a long time, you already know the drill. We're using an Ever After High doll as a base. I think this one is Apple White. One of her hands is from an old Monster High one and it's a bit mutilated, but we can get on with it. And if you've been a fan of the series for a long time, you know what's gonna happen. And if you haven't and you just found me, drop me a like and subscribe, please and thank you. We can remove our head by heating up the vinyl with a hairdryer so that it pops off nice and easy. And with it detached, we can take our pair of needle nose pliers and scrape them around the neck hole to pull out all of the little hair plugs and gunky bits. With all of them scraped out, we can take our pliers and reach into the head to pull out the gunk. This was pretty tough this time round, but we got there in the end. And we can take all that gunky stuff and throw it away. Disgusting. Now we can get on to wiping her face. I take some 100% acetone and remove all of her face paint with sweeping motions of my cotton swabs. It's best to use a kind of sweeping motion rather than a smearing motion because otherwise you can smear some of the paint around the face and it makes it a bit more of a hassle to get off. With her face all clear, she is good to go. To start, I added some epoxy to her hands so that it looks more like a human hand and I painted them both black. These will be her gloves. Now we can spray her face with a coat of Mr. Super Clear sealant and begin on her face up. I take some chalk pastels and begin blushing her cheeks, lips, nose and eyes. I always take a small eraser to remove all of the excess dust. I find that small animal erasers are great for erasing around the lips because they've got like little fins or paws or hands that can just remove it in small crevices, which is really useful. I did try to put on some eyebrows, but the white pastel was not showing up, so I'm just gonna have to draw those straight on. Oh boy. Next, I take a brown pencil very similar to her skin tone to start sketching in the base of her eyes. I had a reference photo of Megami up on my laptop so I could see what I was doing the entire time. I also begin to plot in where her eyebrows will go. Happy with my eye shape, I take a black pencil and start sketching over my lines. Now, Megami's eyes are a very pale white grey, which is kind of the same colour as I do the rest of the eye, so I was trying to think about how to get around this, so I opted to give her a slightly bluey purple tint in her eyes, rather than them just being pure white. I take some pink pencil and start defining her lips. Taking a darker pink pencil for the lip crease and small details. I go outside a bit so I end up taking a paintbrush to feather out where I've gone wrong so it's not as noticeable. I also use some paintbrush with some water to really brighten her lip colour. Unfortunately, due to it being winter, Mr. Super Clear doesn't take super well to the dolls, so I end up having to do a bit more painting than I'd like. Doing the same, I block in her eyebrows with a white pencil. Well, the pencil's pigment. I can then take my white pencil to start brightening the whites of her eyes. I also use it to block in some pale colour on her irises and go in with some purple to define a base for the colours which I'll be using for her. Now, she's looking significantly purple, but I think we can fix this. I continuously lighten with white, trying to negate the purple hues being as vibrant, but also trying to keep some of the eye structure which I'd already built in. I also use my white to add some highlights to her eyelids, the tip of her nose and her cupid's bow. I can't really highlight underneath her eyebrows with white this time because her eyebrows are white, so it just kind of make them look a bit thicker. But her eyebrows should be hidden by her hair anyway, so it's not too detrimental on this doll. I go back and forth, continue building up colour, and with that the face is done, and I dot in some white highlights using some white acrylic paint. Using a high gloss varnish, I add some shine to her eyes, and now we can reunite her head with her body. Now for the hair. For the hair, I've got this white, which is actually from an old costume wig that I kind of took apart for parts when it started decaying a bit. And we can make a wig cap out of some old fabric, and we secure it around the head with some elastic bands. Then I take some Mod Podge and slather it over my fabric. I did put cling film on beneath this so that it did not stick to the doll's head. If you want to see more in depth about making wig caps, I'd check out some of the other Yandere sim videos. Now I can just go around gluing down the white wig bits. And since it's all straight, I didn't actually have to do that much work. She looks really cool, doesn't she? And I've secured her wig in place with 3 pins. Now onto her outfit. I makeshift a pattern out of some white fabric, and using tape I mask off areas to paint red. These will be the stripes at the bottom of her uniform. What's really nice is I have a break from making the regular uniform, and I get to do something really fun and different, which is the student council uniform. And wow, those stripes are crisp. I kind of makeshift a pattern, and I used the waistband pattern from Moonlight Jewel's sewing book. Again, if you don't have it, I'd recommend getting it. And I use a modified shirt pattern from Poppin' Altair to make her shirt. And I glue on some ruffs, and I glue on some details, and put a red rim around all of it. Not too shabby. Now for her stockings. I take 2 bits of black stretchy fabric, and I sew them straight onto the leg. Now, since this fabric is stretchy, it means I can turn them inside out and they will fit perfectly. Swanky, right? I also, using the same shoe tutorial that I've done in my other videos, but this time with fabric instead of paper mache, make her shoe casings. And using this 3D printed model of a shoe base, link to the Thingiverse file will be in the description below, I can use that for the heel instead of having to sculpt one this time. And I just glue it onto the rest of the shoe. I then tie some red bows around the top of her socks. And she's just adorable. And she's done. This has been an insane doll journey, but it's so cool to see how my dolls have progressed over the years, because these dolls have kind of been a constant throughout the channel, which is insane. But all of these dolls are finally done, and they will all be up for sale, so if you would like to purchase one, please do let me know. I am so proud that I've managed to do this, and I don't know what is going to be the big next series for the channel now that the yarn sim dolls have been done. Leave a comment in the description box below if you've got any ideas of what the next series could be. And leave a like on my channel, subscribe, and maybe share it to a friend. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I shall see you all in the next one. Bye!